statement.
Well, great to see you all here today. Definitely excited with the progress of our season thus far since June 1 when we first got together. Obviously, we're at a phase now where you can get some Ken Palm rankings for the first time since 2012, 2013. We have our highest ranking, which is a great accomplishment, but obviously something that's due to our progression since being here in my fourth year now. And coaches poll, same way, one of our highest rankings since 2017, 2018 season. Regardless of the rankings, you got to go out and do the work, and our guys are going to continue to pride themselves and ourselves, this program, about going and do the work. We got to go earn what we want, and that's obviously the opportunity to play in a national championship game.
All right, questions?
Dennis, what do you like about the team that you assembled this year? Obviously, a lot more length and size. What do you like about the group you've assembled?
Well, we have great size. I think when you look at the experience, being able to retain and have retention, when you have a returning all-conference guy, Mark Mitchell, in addition to Ant Robinson preseason, in my mind, Defensive Player of the Year. You have a group of guys that could pull a group forward, and I'm excited with what I've seen with their leadership internally. Now, from an external standpoint, we got to see it all come together with our newcomers.
Coach, the sophomores obviously have another year of development under their belt. Where have you seen them grow, and what are kind of your expectations for those three?
Well, I would love for T.O. Barrett to have the same jump that Ant Robinson had as a freshman to sophomore. That's something I'm looking forward to see. We saw flashes of him doing such in big games, whether it was a win on the road at Florida or even throughout his growth during the year behind the scenes. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Honor Boateng has made a big jump as well. So I want those two guys to make the jump that's necessary in their career that'll allow them the opportunity to push their team forward and play significant minutes. Trent Burns, same thing. This is his first year would be playing, so he's still going to be considered a freshman. So in my eyes, I want him to be able to be a guy that earns all freshman nomination.
As far as Trent Burns goes with his recovery process, what does that look like for him in the return to the court, and how has he kind of embraced that
Well,
recovery?
first of all, you got to coach 7-footers differently. You got their load management has to be different. So he's right on course. The timing of everything is great. Obviously, there was a procedure done, and he's ahead of schedule in my eyes. Great to see him running. Great to see him doing things. But we're going to make sure we get him to the games, and that's the most important thing.
You mentioned the newcomers. What have you seen out of the group of transfers specifically that you've liked so far?
Well, I love their experience. When you have guys that have played significant minutes or even come from coaches who they're coming from programs that, in my mind, I've studied and been a part of when I've been able to watch and relentlessly learn from the system. So when you look at Sebastian Mack, look at the coach, the institution that he's coming from. I have great respect for Mick Cronin. When you look at, I would say Jaden Stone. Jaden Stone, last time he played was for Mike Davis. Mike Davis is a Final Four coach. He wasn't able to get on the court last year due to injury. So when you look at those two guys and what they're able to add to our program, I think that's great. When you look at, Javon Porter, same thing. He's played with Stan Johnson over at LMU, and in addition to Pepperdine, I just think when you look at a kid like Javon, his length, his size for position, his ability to rebound, and versatility, but look at the coaches and the program and the seasons that he's been able to put together. Same with Sean Phillips Jr. Sean is a SEC guy. He started his career here. He was a kid that, in my mind, could make a difference as an SEC player. Ended up transferring at Arizona State. When you look at the numbers that he was able to produce when Jaden Quaintance was out, those are significant numbers for any center in the country to have those types of numbers in 10-plus games. So I'm excited about what I've been able to see from those guys, and obviously with what we have returning. Who am I missing from our guys that you guys want to know about? Anybody else?
Luke Northweather as well.
Yeah, Luke is a kid that's returning home. I think his best basketball is ahead of him. He's a kid. He was actually my first official visit as a head coach here. Didn't get him the first time, but here we are, second time around. He's living his dream of playing at Missouri. And the timing couldn't be any more perfect than what it is. He gives us the ability to stretch the court from the 5 spot. He and Sean Phillips and Trent Burns are 3 different centers, but they all complement Mark Mitchell, Javon Porter, and the rest of our team in a great way. There's no guys in our program from the portal that I had not recruited before. So there's familiarity in their grassroots level, AAU, high school, and we just wasn't able to get them. I think the first year here, everyone looked at why is Coach Gates offering all these kids? Well, the return on that investment is now paying fruition, and these guys remember the relationship we tried to build at that time, and that's what made it a little bit more easier when it was time to have that first call with them.
Dennis, Jaden, I think, just kind of told us, a few of us, his story from his perspective, and I'm just curious what story coming back from the injury and just thought he was done with basketball and then getting another chance from you guys. Like, what was your impression of the perspective that he has on this for a 22-year-old kid when you got to talking to him?
Well, not only look at Jaden Stone, he's a tremendous player. Anyone that has played for Mike Davis, remember I came from the Horizon League. We studied those teams, and he was able to average 20 points in the Horizon, which is a difficult thing to do. And he did it at a high level. You look at his path coming from Australia, there's a different perspective from that instance, and then him being able to get to America and play and sacrifice what he had to sacrifice to be here on his journey of basketball. Although he started at different institutions, I just look at what we've been able to accomplish, what I've been able to accomplish with men like Jaden Stone, being able to revive a career and be able to inject them with an invigoration that allows them to see something new, right? And you can see the love he has for the game every day that he laces up his sneakers, how he attends to his teammates and vice versa. I think ultimately his experiences and his basketball experience is what's going to help him. And sometimes you got to go through something and have a story and a journey to really appreciate the day-to-day, and I think he has the endurance mentally, physically, and emotionally to push us how he needs to.
I'm sure it's a case-by-case basis, but when you're talking to a kid, how do you come to the decision, hey, is the kid worth taking a second chance on, deserves another shot for whatever he's trying to overcome?
I think when you look at our program culture and when you look at our core principles of friendship, love, accountability, trust, discipline, unselfishness, enthusiasm, and toughness, he fits that, and those kids fit that. Just because they wasn't a star, a 5-star for another coach, doesn't mean they can't be a 5-star for Dennis Gates in our program today. I think when I look back on my life, someone gave me a chance, and we're all here because someone gave us a chance. Whether we squandered the first time, the second time, in your case, you probably squandered 100 of them, right?
96.
Right, 96. But somebody gave you a shot, and you got to go through life experiences and fail and obviously get rejected. The journey is what helps us in the moment. It's not just the opportunity. It's how we've approached the journey each and every day. And when I read the journey and understand a kid's journey, I get to now figure out if that's an equation that I'm able to coach. And I'm able to coach a kid like that because of our success with a Caleb Grill, who probably no one thought would sign an NBA contract, right? Same with Tamar Bates, same with a Mark Mitchell. All these kids come from different walks of life, but opportunities come and go. It's my job to make sure young people get a shot because someone gave me a shot.
Coach, can you talk about the maturity level of Aaron Rowe as a true freshman and kind of his ability to take some harder coaching? I know you said it, he said it to me earlier that he gets coached pretty hard as a freshman point guard.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about how he's able to handle some of that coaching and his maturity level in general?
Well, if you look at Ant Robinson is a product of there's nothing he could do right his first year, right? Miss Robinson and Mr. Robinson allowed me to coach their son hard because we all met and I told them what the plan was. And every time Ant Robinson tried to complain about Coach Gates, Mom and Dad would cut him off and say, go listen to Coach. It's the same way with T.O. Barrett. there's nothing T.O. Barrett could do correct last year in practice. It's just how I have to make sure they're positioning themselves to lead. Aaron Rowe is going to take a little bit of that this year, and he has been. And his job is to smile when Coach Gates gets on him. And his job is to not want or need affirmation or a pat on the back. His job is to develop. And on the other side of that development, you see a guy like Ant Robinson who's not done growing, who's not done producing. His best days is ahead of him, but you guys see the jump. I don't know when the jump is going to happen, but these kids have to be prepared to be pushed and not run away. The journey is what's going to prepare them. It's easy to run away. Ant Robinson is easy to run away from being blamed every single practice of what he's done wrong. Same way with T.O. Barrett. Now Aaron Rowe, I believe, is going to be a benefit of that, and you can see his growth off the court. When a kid comes to you and say, Coach, 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 I got an A. I got to give him some love there, right? But ultimately, I think his family has done a great job of putting us in a position. His AAU coaches, high school coaches, put us in a position to lead him and push him back when they obviously see anything that's close to him complaining about, well, Coach Gates is too hard on me. There's no such thing because life is difficult.
Coach, if this team's going to get to where you would like it to get to this season, if it's going to achieve its
Final
goals,
Four national championship.
how much of that is going to rely on retention and development?
Well, retention and development is very important. You can't just build a national championship team just from the portal. You have to have a high school recruiting class that's going to keep developing. Obviously, to have Ant Robinson and Trent Pierce here as third-year recruits is important because they get to pass along your culture. You get to see their development. Now you look at Honor Boateng, T.O. Barrett, Trent Burns, the class afterwards. Those guys become sophomores, and in eligibility, you see that now that you have a freshman class. That's why we concentrate on not having one-year portal guys, but two-year guys. Tamar Bates benefited from that. Caleb Grill benefited by way of injury. Now we want the Sebastian Mack and the Luke Northweather to have 2 years remaining so they can make the developmental jump as well. Mark Mitchell, the same. You see a guy who was in his first season make a jump, and now you have retention. Being one of the top teams in the SEC to retain, we work hard on that every single day. I build the relationships with the kids, their parents, their support system, but I also coach them with honesty and fairness and transparency. So I want to be able to make sure we do those things, but not just rely on 1 year classes where the entire team is wiped out. I think we've done a great job throughout our state being able to be innovative in the NIL space. I thank our businesses here in the state who use our student athletes, not just men's basketball, but everywhere, to be able to use a platform for them to lead publicly. Those things matter to recruits, and it matters to the future of our athletic programs.
You previously, I think maybe at this time last year, said the program was still in the infant stages of being a program. Where are you now?
Well, this is my 4th year. 4th year as a head coach at Missouri. I'm excited about it. I'm thankful about it. It's a tough business. At the end of the day, you guys do a lot of coverages of coaches around the world and coaches around college sports. We got to go out and produce and win games. And I'm thankful to be the Witten family men's head coach as long as they allow me to. And I'm just saying that from a standpoint, this is a position that I accept full responsibility for. There's good days, bad days, but you gotta lean on your great days and push the program toward moments that has never happened in a long time. So being able to look at the Ken Palm for the first time since 2012, 2013, we're at our highest ranking. That matters collectively. That's something that hadn't been done since that time frame. When you look at preseason rankings, it's 7th, but it's 7th where 98% of your teams have gone to the NCAA tournament. And I just want to do my part in this ecosystem of coaching that puts our conference where it deserves. And ultimately, I thought last season a national championship was going to come from this conference. And I believe again this year a national championship is going to come from this conference. So being able to have 13 out of the 16 teams in the top 50 preseason rankings, it doesn't mean anything. We still got work to do as a conference, and me as a head coach, to make sure our team stays healthy and make sure we continue to grow.
Dennis, where do you feel like you from as a coaching staff, what do you learn the most from last year's run and how it ended? What do you learn the most taking in this year?
What I learned is, at the end of the day, being able to have 3 top 5 victories, 2 of which were at home. You can't take for granted opportunities to play in front of your crowd. The difference that a crowd makes is tremendous. So hopefully we get to see that in preseason, non-conference scheduling, things like that. You get to learn about personalities. You get to learn about now off-season, and it goes back to retention. Off-season chips on their shoulders, right? I think as players, you see them train differently just because they left something on the table. By any means, I'm excited about being able to go to the NCAA tournament. Not excited about, because I truly believe we had a national championship team last year, but we did not go or advance in the tournament. It's one thing to get there, it's another thing to advance, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to not only get there, but also win some games.
Coach Jalen Brown was one of the best shooters in the country last year, if not the best. Who do you look for to replace that production, and then who has really risen to that challenge so far?
The best part of it is versatility from a distribution standpoint. We have forwards compared to last season who can stretch the floor. Javon Porter has attempted over 100 threes in his career. Luke Northweather, over 60% of his shots have been from 3. Trent Burns is another kid that can stretch the floor. So you look at the forwards and look at now the distribution. You look at Sebastian Mack, Jaden Stone. Yes, we want those guys to make shots. We want Jacob Cruz to make 100 threes. That's my goal for Jacob Cruz, to not attempt but make 100 threes on a season. You look at Ant Robinson. We want Ant Robinson to be able to not have that small sample size but to increase it while also maintaining that percentage that he's been able to shoot it at. So I think from a distribution, our entire team, we play a style that requires close to 800 threes on a season, and that's the goal.
Coach, I might have been asked this before already, but going on the road to start the season again, what's the value of doing that and going out to Howard specifically?
Well, I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity for your team. Being able to look at a 2-for-1 in that situation, that's against a coach that I highly respect. I also believe the character of your team by how they treat opponents on the road, and being able to get that at the very beginning, I think, can help us in a tremendous way. And sometimes those learning lessons are invisible, but they're visible to a coach who knows his team and knows what he needs to see. There's going to be some hostile environments in the SEC. There's going to be hostile environments when we go to neutral sites, but also now putting your team in a place where you can get one of those games in against Howard University, who is a NCAA tournament team for the last 3 years. Is one of those situations where they're well coached. It's going to be a hostile environment, and our team has to peak in a certain way and perform in a hostile way in that environment. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to go there.
Coach, going back to your conversation about Aaron, when you're recruiting in high school, when you're looking at guys in the transfer portal, how do you measure that sort of resilience in a player to where you feel comfortable coaching that guy hard when he gets here?
Well, I'm only able to coach a kid as tough as I coach him behind the scenes, because during the season, during the games on the sideline, I'm just in a suit and tie, and I just sit there, right? And you guys are probably like, why is Coach not as animated? But for the relationship that I have with each and every last one of our players here, it goes beyond basketball. It's a lifelong relationship. They know that. They're not going to kick me to the curb and just deny it. They may try to run from it, but they're not going to deny the words based off what my relationship has been with them. And we work hard. I work hard on that. In life, even in the workplace, wherever you are in your career, you tend to get a response or a better response from the people you have a relationship with. And versus complaining about differences, go bridge the gap. Go bridge the gap and do what it takes to extend the olive branch. And that's what I've done in my career, not only with our players but our staff, being able to have a staff the same way. But Aaron Rowe is responding. All our players are responding. They love to come to practice. They give us their very best. Their very best may never be perfect, but it's their very best, and I know it's their very best. I don't have to do a loose ball drill. I know what's going to happen on the court. I don't have to do charge drills. I know what's going to happen because they're giving me something that I've emulated in my actions to them first. I've crossed the bridge. It's their job to follow me, and my job to get them to follow me through their actions. So I'm thankful for their parents, their AAU coaches, their agents, all of the above for allowing me to coach these young people as difficult of a situation that they are in now as hard as I can.
Time for 2 more questions.
Coach, with Aaron, he was a big local recruit playing at Tolton. Just how valuable is it to get those recruits, and then what's kind of his ceiling here with Mizzou?
For the first time in a long time, we have 4 to 5 guys from Missouri, Kansas City area, right? You look at Mark Mitchell, that's a whole nother kid from a McDonald's All-American Duke transfer that we were able to get. But look at locally, Javon Porter. Look at locally, Luke Northweather. Locally, Aaron Rowe. These are 3 kids. I don't know if it's ever been done, 3 kids in a 50-mile radius, right? That's important. Then look at Nicholas Randall, who's from Vashon, former Gatorade State Player of the Year, 2 or 3-time state champion. That's important when you look at the fabric of this institution, when you look at the pots, meaning the melting pots where our student body arrives from. It's all over the place, but when you can get Kansas City, St. Louis, you can get local, it gives an avenue for applications to increase because these kids are popular within their own circles. They're great kids on and off the court. Nobody's perfect, right? I know all of you guys are perfect, ladies perfect in your lives growing up, but these kids have unbelievable followings. They have great networking skills. They care about people. This past weekend, it was great to see Mark Mitchell in his sort of black and gold overalls, right, at the football game. I mean, just think about that. These kids are throwing themselves into the fabric of the student body and taking the role of what they would want our student section to look like, and that's being a chaotic fan. And when they are chaotic fans and they're excited about football games, you know, I care about that, but they care because they've seen it in high school. They've seen it in elementary school, how special. So Aaron Rowe, back to the question again, Aaron Rowe's baby picture is with Phil Pressey coming to camp. So for me, getting those stories from their moms, parents, fathers, knowing how connected they were to this institution. Luke Northweather the same way, dream of playing here. Him and Javon Porter played here in high school against each other on this court. Now Luke did a great job, but ultimately those are stories that you have to understand why we want these state tournaments here, because they create unbelievable memories that'll last a lifetime.
Coach, how important, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
How important was it accounting for, in the portal, guys you know who can handle a league like the SEC, and how much has the prep in the preseason been about you guys as a staff, but also your retained players, getting those guys ready for what's arguably the best league in the country right now?
Well, as the Whitten family head men's basketball coach, you know, again, I say this at the cusp of opportunity. I've been given an opportunity to lead this program for however long they want me here, and it's a special position to be able to embrace what Norm has done here throughout my tenure now is great. I want all these players to understand and realize that I may push them, I may want more, but it's up to them to create the memories while I lead. I want the big picture to show. I want banners up, right? I want nets cut down. Those things matter when you look back on if a coach has been successful or not. We've risen some banners, not the ones that are very, very special, the Final Fours, national championships. I want those type of banners, and ultimately that'll lead to great careers and great opportunities for our players. I may not have answered your question, but that was what was on my heart that you sparked. But go ahead and ask that question again so I can really answer it this time.
Well, thank you anyway. But I was just saying, when you guys look in the portal and they're guys that you mentioned you had relationships with, how important is it to look at a guy and know, like, this guy can handle a full league schedule in the SEC?
So you look at what they've been able to do. Did they come off the bench? Did they perform at a high level in conference? Sebastian Mack is one of the top free throw attempt guys in the country per minute. He's been able to start for Mick Cronin, in addition to he's been able to come off the bench. Think about how far his teams have gone, right? It's a very successful coach, and he's done a great job. So you look at the fabric of the coach. Sean Phillips Jr. played for LSU, but in addition played for Hurley at Arizona State. He's coaching them hard every day, especially if we see Coach Hurley, how he coaches with the lights on, right? We know behind the scenes he's coaching them hard. Guys are able to respond to that. Javon Porter the same way. Stan Johnson has done a great job at LMU, right? When you look at the fabric and the cloth that they're cut from, and you know what you know about the SEC is not easy. It's difficult. It becomes dark days. Who can rise to the occasion based off the level of competition that they've played at? Jaden Stone, I've seen the University of Detroit, right? I've seen what Mike Davis has been able to do. The kid has been coached hard, trust me. So all of that matters when we put a kid's resume on the table and we try to figure out why this kid over that one. And we want guys who want to be here, who wants to play for me. And that rises to the top. Each guy here wants to play for me. And when I say they want to play for me, I don't have to ask them to run hard. I don't have to ask them to play a little harder. I don't have to ask them. They know the standard, but also from a respect part, it's the fabric that they're cut from. And I'm thankful that we've been able as a staff to identify and build a relationship with most of the kids that we have now prior to them getting in the portal when they were high school students. So that's what stands out as it relates to being able to play in the SEC for me.